match is a way that a patron can write to us through our question point ticketing system. The URL for that form is up there at the top if you want to check it out. But it's essentially just an online form. You don't need a library card to write to us. You share what you like to read in the online form, and you can optionally share what you don't like to read, or what types of books you're looking for, what formats you're looking for. You submit that form to the library. We have a committee of librarians who personally receives or claims each one of these reader requests and answers it with a customized reading list of about 5 titles for you. And this is an example of the kind of response that you can expect to get from a librarian. One of the key parts of this service that they not only hear back from a librarian about books that they might like, but every single response includes a link to a reading list in our catalog. So this book match service was the reason when we switched over to Encore, which did not have a book list functionality in place. It was one of the key reasons we started working with ChiliFresh, because we had this service. It was essential to us that we had a catalog which allowed us to make lists and share those lists with patrons. Just to run through on a basic level how it works. If you search for any title in our catalog, once you are logged in with your user profile, you can add any title in our catalog to a book list right there from the catalog record. What you can do is when you click into a catalog record, you have a few buttons there that you can see for almost any item in our catalog, and you can add an item to a list or a shelf right there from the catalog record. So the difference between a list and a shelf, a list is really a collection of any kind of items. You can create a list of items in the library catalog, and additionally you can add to that list with a URL. So you can, for example, anything on the open web, you can also add to a list. So you can create a list of books and also add a link to a podcast to that list. We create lists sometimes of some of our e-resources, some of our databases, that kind of thing. We create lists of learning resources for some of our teachers, which might include books, but also websites or other sorts of digital collections, that kinds of things. So a list is really a collection of anything. A shelf is slightly different from a list in that a shelf is just a way to track your reading activity. A shelf can be a list of catalog items that you plan to read. A shelf can be a list of catalog items that you're in progress with, and a shelf can be a list of catalog items that you've completed. And because we have so many questions coming in, we have dozens of questions a month coming in, and each one of those questions necessitates the creation of a book list by someone who works here, a librarian. We have thousands and thousands of staff-generated lists to play with. So one of the things that we do is we keep a rotating feature on the homepage of our website. One of the members of our web team goes in and sort of handpicks some of the lists that have been recently created or that are timely or interesting, and they just plug that into our website. And then, different from the homepage of our website, we also have the homepage of our catalog itself, and then we use the homepage of the catalog itself as a place to publicize all the staff-generated content that is available. So the difference between the homepage of our catalog and the homepage of our website is that the feed here on the library catalog is just automatic. So if I were to go in right now and put a list together really quickly, the catalog homepage would see that that list had just been made by a staff person and would pull that in as part of this carousel here. Another way that we try to surface this content in our catalog, meaning trying to passively serve it to people as they're just using our catalog, is that if you go into a catalog record, you're just searching for something, not necessarily interested in finding lists, or maybe you're not even aware that they exist. If you go into a catalog record and that item belongs to a list, you will see that over here on the right-hand side of the page that the catalog will go ahead and tell you that this item belongs to other kinds of lists. And then we built a whole separate platform that I think is primarily used by our staff, but it's accessible to anybody really. We've built a whole separate platform to really search within and browse all of our list content. So you can see here that there's a keyword search up on the top, and then we've created some filtering categories on the left, and we're improving this all the time as we think of more practical ways to help people siphon through the list. You can see that, again, we've created ways to differentiate between lists that have been generated by anybody versus lists that have been created by staff. And then, so that quickly was a way that we've tried to help people organically discover all this content in our catalog and our website. But really important to lists and shelves in general is that the owners of those lists and shelves are the people who themselves have created the content, that it's really easy for them to share it if they so choose. So a list, for example, can be public or private, and private really means that it's not necessarily discoverable in the search interface. Once you switch it to public, it will be, and you can change that categorization at any time. But even if a list is private, you can still grab the link to that list and share it with whomever you choose, as long as you're the owner of that list. What you can do once you have a link, you can do all kinds of things. So one of the things that our staff does, you can actually, again, now once a list is public, anybody can grab the link and share it. You don't have to be the owner. So one thing you can do is, for example, if you work at the library, you can easily share the list to the branch Facebook page, for example, and we have staff who do that constantly as a way to keep the collection in people's minds. We spent a little bit of time really working on a way to, regardless of whether or not you're the owner of a list, to easily download the list and have a pre-formatted flyer ready to go. Another thing that we did, we built in a way where if you are a staff user, so if the system recognizes you as a staff user, if you give an item in our collection 4 or more reviews, so if you 4-star an item or if you 5-star an item, the system automatically designates it with a little flag as a staff pick. And then my last point, we have been working on building out a much more sophisticated metrics and admin panel to help us see how people are interacting with this content. We talk about conversions, so I wrote conversations there, my apologies, but conversion meaning did someone look at a list and then actually place any of those items on hold? Is it creating an incentive for our users to engage more with the library in some way? And then we also are working on ways for administrators of this kind of content to make decisions on behalf of the system. So for example, perhaps Brooklyn Public Library, in our list content, perhaps we would like that feed to include list content from other libraries, or perhaps we prefer that not to happen. That's an example. Another example is through the admin portal, say I would like to designate someone as a staff user where they don't have that patron type set up in our ILS, for example. So lots of different things we're talking through about how to, behind the scenes, manage and make this content even more robust.